Like,
yeah, the script writing. Yeah, it's like some people are like, "Hey, we don't like exposition," and they're like, "Somehow Palpatine returned," and it's like, really? That's the opposite of exposition.
Yeah,
That's just like
this is an imposition.
We
You
are-
have impositioned me.
somebody high up at Disney said, "We want Palpatine to be the bad guy."
Pandering.
Yeah, Palpatining. Yeah. Anyway, I still will say this. I enjoyed what they did. The movies were entertaining for what they were. Still wish they'd retcon it.
my big thing is I'm happy they did a new Star Wars story, like, and I'm not throwing shade at anyone involved in I'm throwing shade at a few people involved in the project. But the big thing for me has always been, if you're going to create something, you either have to make it new or you have to earn the right to use the old stuff.
Yeah.
And they didn't earn the right to use the old stuff. Like, Rey, fine, she's an orphan, cool. She's very technical minded, awesome. Yeah, she's a scavenger. She has to know how things work, right? You that's the sort of on the job training. I get that,
She's
right?
a tinkerer.
She's a tinkerer.
She's Tony Stark. She built it in a cave with a bunch of scraps.
I'm there. Like, I'm not upset about any of that.
Right.
Oh, she's force sensitive. Oh, she's descended from an extremely powerful force bloodline. Okay, nothing you said has been any different than the first Star Wars, right?
Everything you just said is wrong.
Right? Like, I'm not mad about any of that.
Yeah.
But then she goes into a junkyard and just finds the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah, right?
Right? Like, the Millennium Falcon...
No, not that one. That one's trash.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take the trash.
like the idea of the Millennium Falcon, and that's why they put the Millennium Falcon in there, was this big thing. It was like an immediate, the audience is going to see it. They're going to be like, oh, that's the Vulcan.
Yeah, you can't tell me they haven't made...
And that's
you can't tell me that they haven't made the Kessel Run faster and, in less distance than the Millennium Falcon did. Because it's parsec. So, yeah, the Millennium Falcon was able to navigate it in the lowest distance possible. Yeah. Not necessarily the fastest. But they did say, like, this ship can outrun any other ship. And I'm like, guys, it's been like 50 years.
Yeah, things have happened.
There's got to be a better designed ship than the Millennium Falcon.
We got a planet. We got a star Death Star now.
We got a whole planet that just swallows suns.
It can shoot off and destroy 6 planets and never leave its position. Which is, first off, what the fuck?
Yeah, and what happened to pod racing?
Yeah. Right?
We haven't seen any pod races in a long time.
So I'm not upset, and some people will be like, "Oh, but they got the Millennium Falcon just as easy at the bar. They just hired it." It's like, yeah, but it wasn't the Millennium Falcon then, right?
Yeah.
It was just Han Solo's ship.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he always called it the Falcon.
He always, yes, and it was the Millennium Falcon, but when they were hiring it, it was Han Solo's ship, the Millennium Falcon, and here's how we're doing it.
Yeah.
Now, it's the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
It has weight.
Yeah.
Right? And they did nothing to earn that weight.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Moving right along. Well, here we are. Shall we start our intro, our entree, as it were? A little entree.
All right.
Let's do it.
Okay. Hello, and welcome to Basements, Faults, and Catapults. I'm one of your hosts, Aaron.
And I am Trevor.
And here we're going to be looking at games, genres, and the things that we enjoy in gaming.
And to do that, we're going to randomly select a genre each episode.
Yeah, we'll give you a brief rundown of that genre.
And then we will select 2 games. One of these games will be something we want to catapult into glory, while the other one will be cast into the fault lines riddling our basement lair. The catch, and what we hope will be the fun part, is that neither of us will have played, or at least played heavily, the titles the other has selected.
Yeah, so we're taking those titles, the best, the worst, we're going to divide it up, and then we'll give it an hour playtime. We'll meet back up, chat about our experiences.
That's when we'll give our own opinions of the other's game. We'll celebrate where we agree, and we'll refrain from murdering each other where we disagree. Huh? After all, not everyone can have perfect opinion.
Hey, and that's it. We hope that you'll join us, listen in, maybe be inspired to try a few of these titles along the way, or, let us know exactly why our opinions are trash.
Thank you for joining us, and remember, How do you kill that which has no life?
Bum, bum,
Bum, bum,
bum.
Yeah, I just watched a big thing on the South Park Make Love Not Warcraft episode. Yeah. That's such a great episode about video game nerds, and apparently Blizzard had a big part in providing them all the game assets so they could animate it.
Blizzard was fairly heavily involved in
That's
it.
so cool.
Yeah,
Blizzard,
that was back when Blizzard was decent.
Yeah, Blizzard was like, the players that play our game are total nerds. We're gonna totally make fun of them along with, Matt and Trey. So
I think more it was we have a healthy sense of self-deprecating humor.
Yes. Self-deprecating, not self-defecating. Very important distinction. Although that episode had both. Mom, bathroom, mom, bathroom.
Just the worst. It's from my wrist.
Oh my god. Yeah.
So bad.
Stan, take the sword. I'm dying, Stan.
But you're just a newbie.
You're just a noob, Dad. I love Stan.
He had his moments.
And Randy Marsh.
What
a goofy guy.
They were like South Park hit and miss for me, but I've always appreciated moments of
I've always appreciated the satire of the what's going on in the world right now.
Yeah.
And that relevancy that they tried to bring every week of what's happening in the world. But it's hilarious because there's certain things in the world that they just can't make fun of because it makes fun of itself so badly.
Yeah.
Like everything that's going on in the world right now. Like they won't touch it with South Park because it's already something that's funny enough on its own. Yeah, exactly.
It's always self-satirizing. Yeah.
Yes. It's weird when the entire world is self-satire at this point. Yeah,
it's not great. But you know what is great?
Video games.
And these two dice I hold in my hand that will determine the number we will enter in the random genre selector. Now, the number determines the amount of times the random selector will select a genre, right?
Yeah, it basically goes through the loop until it reaches the number, and then it lands on that number, and then it provides us with a game genre. I gotta pause for a minute because my phone is ringing.
You should pause.
I'm back. Back, B. Come here.
Get over here. Okay, where were we? Right.
Yeah, so it's going to pick us a genre, and then we're going to, we're going to have to pick some games and explore the genre. I kind of hope we get a new genre that we haven't done yet.
Yeah. We also need to add immersive sim to our genre.
Immersive sim. So we did add immersive sim.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're good.
I think we did that last time because we wanted to incorporate that.
Yeah. So an sim is like a Deus Ex or something like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm rolling. It's happening. I'm rolling.
Rolling it. Rolling.
Look at me.
Rolling. Oh my god.
36.
36. Okay, so we got a 36 dice roll.
Ooh,
here we go.
Hey, everything is terrible.
No. So what's great about this genre?
We both suffer equally.
Yeah, so everything terrible. We threw that in there kind of as a bit of a curveball, which means that we both have to play a terrible game.
Yeah.
The nice thing about that is we can kind of go through and handpick the trash that we play today.
And the thing is, like, I've returned most of my trash.
Yes, you do. Well, I mean, let's lean on our Steam libraries a little bit.
Okay.
There's got to be some trash that we've bought.
I mean, yeah.
There's got to be. I mean, I Love You, Colonel Sanders was interesting for sure.
Yeah,
it was for sure interesting.
But it was fun trash.
It was a finger-looking good time. Let's see. That was actually the episode that just aired.
Yeah. We've had some lovely comments on our love of chicken.
The love of chicken. Everything is terrible. Well, and it's funny because it's very fitting because these tariffs on Canada is really starting to suck. Everybody's tariffing everybody. No one wants to get along anymore, and it's all because of the Americans.
The American. Well, it's because of one specific American who thinks he's a king, but that's besides
and
the
50% of the Americans who voted for him. For all the other Americans,
we're sorry.
Canada's got an open door immigration policy, and I'm sure you
not really. We should.
No, we used to. We did about a year ago.
Yeah, well, we have some similar immigration haters.
Canada's an open door.
No, sir.
Canada's an open door.
Yeah, which is too bad. We should be.
We flipped the switch. It's not an open door anymore.
It's just a line we drew on a map.
It's just an arbitrary line on a map.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
That's
it's
how
just a line
work.
on a map.
He figured it out.
Somebody just drew a line there. It's a fake border, a fake country. Not even a real country. Not even a real country.
Should be our cherished 51st state.
Should be our cherished 51st state. They would be very loved, very cherished.
Yeah.
We certainly wouldn't rape and pillage all their resources and leave them with nothing.
I was about to say, I've seen how he treats his wives. We don't need that.
Speaking of looting and pillaging.
Hey!
Well, I'm looking for... I'm buzzing through the store pages. Oh, there we go. There's a game that I bought. When did I buy this?
Red Horizon? We played that already,
one.
Yeah.
I was like, why is it still in my library? No.
It's in my library, too. It's in one of our libraries.
Right? Cards and Tankards.
Cards and Tankards.
Why did I buy Cards and Tankards? I mean, it's a mostly positive game.
I'm just trying to just show me the worst game ever. Just show me your bad games.
Right? Why can't I sort by bad games?
Yeah.
Why can't I sort my own library by user reviews? All these features, it would be so nice to have.
Oh, Half-Life 2 just did an RTX demo.
Did they?
Yeah. And so far, no one's happy.
RTX, it's cool, but totally unnecessary. It's not really for me. I've got a 3090 and I'm like, RTX off. Otherwise I lose half my frame rate.
Yeah. I was watching a RT, someone showing the difference between non-RTX and RTX, and I don't need a game drawing an extra leg for me,
Yeah.
It's not great. I'm not sold on it. All right, well, let's see.
I'm looking. You
know what? Free to play almost always has trash.
Oh, there's lots of good bad free to play games.
So I'm gonna jump on that.
Jump on it.
And then we're gonna go and hit operated. That's not how that works at all.
I have a game called Lichdom Battlemage.
Oh yeah?
Which is mixed reviews. It's only got 2,056 reviews. The game is $11.
$11.
Let's see what the reviews are saying. I wanted to play this when it was released. Never had a powerful enough computer. Not worth it. Strong spell design. No story.
Overwatch 2 is mostly negative.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. Do you think that's an anti-LGBT thing?
I don't know what it is. I've played Overwatch 2 and it's okay. I enjoyed parts of it. I'm not gonna sit here and say it was amazing.
I mean, it looked like a very cool shooter.
Yeah, it was a fun little shooter.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so I've decided on Lichdom Battlemage.
Lust Goddess is free to play. Amazing.
What's its rated? It's probably overwhelmingly positive.
No, it's mixed.
Well, there you go. Looks like you're playing Lust Goddess today.
Please no.
No. This is a safer work channel.
We're
family friendly.
So
Aaron, we're family friendly.
My mother watches this show. Right.
I mean, it's not our fault. We run across titles sometimes that are a little weird.
Yeah. This isn't our fault.
One of my favorite things to do is see some of the immature games that some of my friends have purchased that are on their because it'll be like
you get to be super judgy.
Well, you get to look at games. You get to search for games that your friends own. And so I'll be like, somebody's playing a pretty racy game over here.
Someone's got a lot of. Someone has no shame.
Someone has no shame and very poor taste. And you know what? I'm not judging.
Judging a little bit.
So maybe a little bit. So Lichdom Battlemage.
Okay.
If I go to the store page, it legit just says, play the first game. Play the first game where the mage is a total badass. And I'm like, okay, so this is from Xavient, developer Xavient, publisher Xavient Games.
They're all like, the mages are already the most powerful class in any, put them in anything, they're already the most powerful, right? Like
the developers. So there's like no game description on here at all. It basically says about this game, and there's just a whole bunch of like banner.
Amazing.
And then it says, Lichdom Battlemage is a first-person caster that gives the mage the spotlight in a way never before seen in games. With limitless magical power at your disposal and brutal enemies around every corner, victory hinges on a combination of skill and strategy. You must carefully craft a vast array of spells and learn to cast them in the heat of combat. You are your spells. The Lichdom Battlemage spell crafting system offers an enormous range of customization. Every mage is the product of crafted magic that reflects the individual's playstyle. Whether you prefer to target your foes from a safe distance, wade into combat and unleash your power at point-blank range, or pit your enemies against each other, endless spell customization lets you become the mage you want to be. Yeah, so I mean, it says it has a mature content description. The developers describe the content like this. This game may contain content. This game may contain content not appropriate for all ages, or maybe not appropriate for viewing at work. Frequent violence or gore. General mature content. Minimum requirements. We're looking at a 8 gig of RAM. We're saying an NVIDIA GTX 670 and 2.8 quad core. So yeah, I'm installing it. I'm gonna give it a try, man.
Okay, wait, are you playing it or am I playing it? You're playing it.
I'm gonna give this one a try. Lichdom Battlemage. Yeah, right. It's a bad game. I haven't played it. How about you? What are you sniffing on the bad side?
I found a game called Undecember.
Undecember.
Undecember. It's a hack and slash action RPG in which players are able to surpass the conventional limits of skills by endlessly combining a variety of skill and link runes. Become a rune hunter and experience the joy of farming and growth. It has mixed reviews, and it has had mixed reviews throughout its existence. Came out in 2022. So about this game is birth of the 13th being, evil god Serpents. Light came from darkness, and that light split into 12 different divine beings. The 12 beings that rose from the void shared their powers to create Traum and lived peacefully among their descendants. The descendants prospered under the blessing of the 12 beings, who are now worshipped as gods. But one day, an unexpected being, the evil god Serpents, came to existence. Bum, bum, bum. Anyway, so main features are, the hack and slash, and the best part about a hack and slash is when you're just annihilating countless enemies at once. As a genre where character growth is tied to devastating enemies to gain new items, to use those items to create new builds, the focus was set upon the proposition to gain strength after wiping out enemies during development. It stays away from the typical growth. Well, it literally says stirring away from the typical growth system. Players will be able to enjoy completing their own unique builds. I argue that if you're going to say that, then you do not speak English as a language.
You know what my favorite hack and slash is? Hack and slash from Reboot, the animated series.
God, I loved Reboot.
Hack and slash was so great. Hack, slash, get over here.
Yes, boss. What do you need, boss?
Megabyte. And such a great show.
Who then became Gigabyte after he got possessed by the weird web virus.
He got upgraded. Yeah. And then Hexadecimal was his evil sister.
Yeah, they were sisters. They were brother sister.
And sibling viruses.
Yeah, but Hexadecimal became a good guy. kind of.
At some points along the way, yeah.
It's been a minute since I saw a reboot.
Actually, at every point throughout the show, at some point, both of the evil viruses ended up kind of doing good things.
Yeah.
But yeah, very interesting. So
I think my favorite episode of Reboot was when Enzo was having his birthday party and Megabyte like crashes the proceedings and just like ripping guitar solo and then gives the guitar to Enzo.
Yeah, exactly. So good. Yeah, I especially liked the any of the scenes in like the restaurant bar where the guy's like, "Ow," and the guy in the back goes, "What?"
Yeah,
and that was their whole shtick. All right. Well, hey, I'm ready to play some Lichdom Battlemage.
I am ready to play some I will be ready to play Undecember in I guess a minute.
Undecember. Is it like D is capitalized?
No, it's just Undecember. Trials of Power.
Okay, cool. Trials of Power. Okay. I don't even know why I bought Lichdom Battlemage, but I guess I'm about to find out.
Boom, boom, boom. Setting 1 hour. Starting now. See you guys when we're done.
Hit you on the flippity flip.
Flip flop. Flip flop, apple hop.
And this is where we introduce our diddly diddly doo.
Yeah, I really love that. I think it's so cool.
It worked out. It worked out well. It really sounds cool.
Wow.
And we're back.
Hey. And we had very different experiences.
Yeah, so I mean
that's good,
it's
right?
an everything is terrible play.
Except
right?
it wasn't terrible for me.
Yeah, let's hear a little more about that. Tell me.
Okay. Well, I mean, first off, I did pick a mixed review game.
But it's free to play.
But it is free to play.
Okay.
However, like a lot of free-to-play games, especially I find games developed in and around the Asias, it is free-to-play, but there are an obscene amount of microtransactions.
Oh, no.
All right? So with this game, and normally that's like, yeah, exactly. Oh, no. But in this game, what looked like, it looked interesting enough, because other than, your cosmetics... and things like that, it really only sold time.
Okay.
It sold cosmetics. It sold boosts to drop and experience rates, right? And that's just grind.
Okay.
And it sold a subscription. And then all that subscription did was it gave you extra slots in your inventory, 100 extra slots, and you start off with 300. So like. Okay. And also it gave you more, you could put more things on the auction house, and you could, there's a system called alchemy that lets you refine items, and it increased the speed of that by 100%. So really all they're selling is time, which again, not a huge issue, but it's not like they're gating content.
Yeah.
So I wasn't too upset by the concept of it. They also weren't really in your face about it. They were like, here's the shop.
We have a shop. You don't have to use the shop, but we've got a shop. It's a great shop.
It's a great shop.
It's the best shop.
Best shop. Anyway.
We sell big gloves. They don't fit my tiny hands.
Big hands. Some say the biggest.
The biggest
hands. Anyway, so like I wasn't too offended by the microtransactions. Now, it is microtransactions, and the North American audience, the more and more, especially thanks to Blizzard, we're becoming sort of attuned to that.
Yeah, we're becoming desensitized, and we're normalizing it. Stop it!
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Sell the game, buy the game, done. And that's the only excuse. This game's free, so they got to monetize it somehow. Whereas Blizzard launch Diablo 4 was $80.
Yeah.
So, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So, there's that side of the equation as well. I really actually was impressed. There was some really interesting factors in this game that they were doing differently than other hack and slashes, for example. So like a lot of hack and slash will say, we got rid of the class system, and this one did. You don't have classes. But what you do have are, you get a little, I think it was about a 26 grid hexagon, and you could put your skills in that hexagon. And very similar to Path of Exile, runes could link to rune.
Yeah.
Whereas Path of Exile, those runes are linked to your items. With this game, it was entirely just your grid.
Kind of like, I don't know if you remember Legend of Dragoon.
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah, where you kind of would put in the things to unlock the skills and stuff.
Yeah. Very similar in a lot of respects.
Okay.
But what was interesting, and the part that I found cool, because I'm a sucker for puzzle games, your skill, lightning, for example, it had 4 color patterns on it. It had a red side, 2 blues, and a green, right? And you could link modifying skills to those sides. So, for example, there's a red modifier called increased damage. And if you linked it to a skill with a red side, the skill would gain an increased damage buff. There was a chain spell, and if you linked that, it increased the area of damage and targets. So you could turn your lightning spell into chain lightning.
Nice.
Right? So I thought that was a really interesting twist on that sort of format. And, it's not unique. Path of Exile did it. Legend of Dragoon did it. But I think that the way they executed it was really fresh and really interesting.
Nice.
Granted, I only got an hour in, so I don't know how that scales. But I felt very comfortable, very I was killing things. So it was cool. I really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that's good to hear. I mean, we hear these games with mixed or bad reviews, and with a name like Undecember, I feel like it's like stealing Christmas or something. The mixed reviews, I kind of looked at a couple of them, and some of the biggest, there were some of the things similar to what you said, like Diablo meets Path of Exile. The Big Gabowski said that.
He's not wrong.
Someone else said 10 minutes of moving my controller, pressing the keyboard, still couldn't figure out how to move my character.
That sounds like a skill issue.
And they're already throwing me at the cash shop. Part of my review games I've played. Here's another one. Too RNG for my tastes. Yeah, like pseudo ARPG with cosmetics and pretty 3D faces.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just were like, this game is garbage. Unplayable when they open the inventory. So I mean, there's a lot of mixed reviews on here. There's a lot of bad games, like graphics good, gameplay not so much.
Sure.
Game runs weirdly, badly, constantly stutters. Did you find the game ran smooth?
Yeah, ran great.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna run great. It's a 3090. It has to run great. I mean, you think so, right? So I mean, yeah, it looks like, it kind of looks like Diablo, doesn't it?
It looked and felt very Diablo.
Yeah.
Especially like Diablo 4, like the new stuff.
Yeah. So tell me about the graphics. The graphics look pretty good.
The graphics were very good. Especially I would argue that it is as good or better than Diablo 4.
Wow, big praise.
Well, big praise, yeah, but also kind of damning on the boys in Blizzard.
Yeah.
Because, I mean...
They haven't tried to do anything new with Diablo in a long time.
No, they haven't tried to do anything new in Diablo. And also, just, there's no excuse for a lot of these AAA companies nowadays, because they make these huge, massive games that cost millions and millions of dollars, and then they charge you, hundreds of dollars to buy the game, and then they put in microtransactions to service the game, when the reality is, you don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't.
I saw an article the other day where somebody made the claim that AAA games are essentially dead.
Oh, yeah, I believe that.
And they essentially said that the strategy of dumping a bunch of money into a game for 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 years and then releasing it, that strategy isn't going to work anymore in the modern era, where literally all these game companies are either dumping out game trash, or, we've got indie developers who are actually trying to with small studios develop really cool and fun to play games. And
Yeah.
the idea was that the AAA game studio model just isn't viable anymore.
No, it's not. They're too slow. So like a great example of that, Concord, right? Big, massive studio, massive money behind it.
Zero playtesting. But also, when Concord was conceived and developed, the sort of arena hero shooter was Ascendant. And then, through no fault of a lot of fault of the studio, but through no fault of the developers, that game stopped being interesting. Yeah.
And you can say, oh, but what about Marvel Rivals? Marvel Rivals is using a established IP that people love. And also it's a good game. Like, I'm not gonna throw shade there.
Yeah.
But it's the game when it was released was not the game that people needed. So it's not nimble, it's not fast enough to keep up with changing markets.
Yeah.
And more to the point, it didn't do anything new. It didn't do anything exciting, right?
Yeah.
Like we're out of the era of the sequel. We're now in the era of the next hotness.
Yeah, like what's the next cool fun game that's going to hit the market? And I mean, we also have to kind of accept the fact that you and I are very anti-microtransaction.
No, yeah, no, and I think everyone should be.
We're PC game players, and I agree. I think everyone should be. But we have this generation of mobile gamer creeping up behind us that doesn't buy a PlayStation, that doesn't buy an Xbox, that doesn't buy a PC and a graphics card, and is playing mobile games on their phones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Honkai Impact Star Rail and stuff like that. Like, or even just the classic Bubble Bobble or
Candy
Crush or those kind of games. Like the mobile games, people are spending more and more time on their phone, and
I'm reading my phone right now.
Yeah, you're on your phone right now. And we're, in the middle of a podcast. So, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm checking my phone like every 5 minutes. Do I have a message? Do I have a thing? Is there something I should know? And it's an addiction, dude. And
it's an addiction.
There's times when I would rather lay in bed and watch TikTok videos and get that instant dopamine hit than come downstairs and power my computer on to play a game. And that's a problem, man. That's a problem. So, graphics and art, what rating out of 10 would you give the graphic?
Here's something interesting. In the character selection and the cutscenes and all that, you get to see these faces and all of that. And right away, I can tell it's an Asian game because of art style and direction. But that's, again, not a bad thing. It's very pretty.
Yeah, we like the Asian game styles. They're always very artistic and artistically well made. Well, not always, but
not always.
The big ones are.
The big ones are. Yeah,
the ones that focus on it. Yes.
I would give this a solid 7.
Okay.
And again, like I said, I would compare the graphics to Diablo 4, which is arguably the prettiest of the Diablo games.
And I'm tired of those top down.
The top down.
I'm just tired of those games. Like I don't enjoy Diablo anymore, dude. Like I went back and played Diablo 1, and I really enjoyed it. Like the creepiness of the music, the babies screaming in the background.
I hated Diablo 1.
It's so creepy.
It's so creepy, and kudos to the developers, but like. I'm a child of the boom. Like I'm a child of the boom shoots. I need to go fast.
Right? Diablo was not a go fast game.
Diablo was not a go fast. But
it was also like every time you connected with your friends to play again, you had to kind of start over.
Yeah, right. Like my first family we owned was a Sega Genesis, so Sonic 2, right? Gotta go fast.
Yes, Sonic and Knuckles.
Plug it into a thing, into a thing.
Emerald Hills.
Yeah.
You gotta go. So speaking of iconic and memorable music, music and audio.
It was serviceable. It was good audio cue, good enemy calls, good death sounds. Your lightning sounded like lightning. But the voice acting varied from... The voice acting varied from, professional to guy in a tin can.
Nice.
So, that was a little jarring because you just finished talking to this guy and to be like, we must explore the area. There's no telling what evil is here, too. Hey, Bob, there's some bad guys in this town. So...
Don't Don't Fiverr your voice actors? Is that what you're saying?
I don't. Well, talk to your localization studios, I think is more important.
Yeah.
So it was weird. It was jarring. It was all over the place. The soundtrack was good, but then again, like, so how do you do that? Like, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 6.5, just because it wasn't, I guess, consistent.
Okay. I've said that I don't like these types of games. This gameplay style, I really dislike it.
Mm-hmm.
How did you feel about the gameplay? How do you like the gameplay of games like this?
I have a long history with hack and slash or ARPGs.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Diablo. Like, one of my first experiences was I would go to my buddy Paul Emmy in junior high, and we would go to the 24-hour rental store, and we would rent Diablo for the PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
We'd buy a flat of Dr. Pepper, and we would, or like a 24-pack of Dr. Yeah, 24-pack of Dr. Like the boxes.
Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too?
Yeah, so we would drink Dr. Pepper, and we would play Diablo on the PlayStation.
Nice.
And those were like our weekend sleepovers. And I had a blast. And that sort of feeling of camaraderie has stayed with me. So for hack and slash games, I have to play. I get a kick out of playing with somebody.
Cool. So how did the gameplay for Undecember stack up?
It was really interesting. They were doing some really cool things. I liked the way they were handling the skill system.
Okay.
It was a new way to sort of play with class and class fantasy. So instead of picking mage, warrior, thief, you would just say, oh, this is a lightning spell. I want to slot that in. And if I take this lightning spell and I attach it to this chain spell, I can now do chain lightning. And if I take this teleport spell and attach it to this, then I can teleport through people and launch lightning bolts. And oh my god, I'm a lightning assassin.
You're a lightning rod.
I'm a lightning rod, and that is cool, right?
That is cool. That is very cool.
So as far as gameplay goes, it was doing some interesting things. Now there are microtransactions. They weren't onerous. I didn't get hit too hard with it. Yes, right off the hop, they're like, here's the microtransaction store. But it was never in a, shall we say...
It was like, hey guys, we've got a store over here. Come check it out if you really want to, but you don't have to.
Yeah, it was basically that. It was just like, hey, we got a store. It's cool.
Nice.
Here's a free thing. Come back.
Yep.
And that was, I'll take it free. Sheesh. So gameplay-wise, I'm going to give this a 7.5. I was really quite impressed with what it was doing.
Nice. Yeah, you kind of mentioned a few times they were doing some interesting things.
Yeah, they were doing some interesting things.
Yeah,
I was very interested in what they were doing.
You got to take risks when you're making games. You got to try, like, don't just copy what other people are doing. Yeah. You've got to come up with some of your own interesting mechanics, right?
They were borrowing mechanics from a lot of things.
Certainly. But sometimes you find a gameplay mechanic, like, say in Black and White 2, where you have a pet that kind of has a will of its own and does its own thing, but you can kind of sort of train it and teach it and correct it when it does things that are wrong, or reward it when it does things that are good to keep it doing those things. Say if you took that and that mechanic and you incorporated that into like a Monster Hunter, where you have a monster that hunts with you or something that you can train by rewarding and not rewarding. And I think that's cool, right?
I do. And to that point, I also think that just because I've borrowed a gameplay or something, it's still my responsibility to put them together in a fun way.
Yeah, to do it in an interesting and fun way.
And I really think they did. They nailed it in a lot of places.
Cool. So did you have fun?
I had a lot of fun. I'm gonna go ahead and temper this with, like, I don't know how much replayability, because we only did an hour.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna go ahead and say an 8 for fun.
Wow.
I was really intrigued with the system. I was like, oh, this is cool. There's some stuff I can do with this. Like, yeah, I was interested all throughout.
So, the ultimate question. You have a general rating of 7.3, which is actually pretty good.
That is pretty good, and I am putting it in the catapult. Like, I think if you're looking for a hack and slash, you're kind of burnt out on, like, the big boys out there, and you're waiting on Path of Exile 2 to come out of early access, This is a good way to burn some time. But
wait, Aaron, there's microtransactions.
I know, but they're not necessary to play the game.
Okay. And I just know, like, we've got episodes where we're like, no, microtransactions, instant,
immediate fault line.
So I guess what you're saying is that it's how you choose to implement the microtransactions.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, again, this is free to play. And they've delivered a really excellent product while simultaneously monetizing it. And maybe when you get to the end game, it'll be like Diablo Immortal, where you have no choice but to engage in the microtransaction storefront. And if that's the case, I would revisit and cast it into the fault lines. But if you're just going to play for 2-3 hours because you need to get that action RPG fix, there's a lot worse out there.
Well.
Or buy Grim Dawn. You know what? Just buy Grim Dawn.
And somebody said that in the reviews, actually. A good advertisement for Grim Dawn. But if you just give me just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, somehow they have gotten to Aaron, and he is promoting a game with microtransactions.
Send help.
The eagle has landed. The
call is coming from inside the house.
It's please send help. We are starting to accept microtransactions games. It's happening.
It's happening in real time. Caught in 4K.
Abandon ship and abandon hope.
Shut up.
But okay.
Shut up and buy my subscription.
Shut up and subscribe to our podcast. Okay, so all right. Undecember, Trials of Power. You got you got a bit of a surprise. A bit of a surprise catapult there.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? When everything is terrible and you still get something reasonably
good, you find something good.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
I'll take that.
You, on the other hand, did not do so good.
Well, okay. So, I love magic. Mm-hmm. I love everything about magic.
Who doesn't?
When Hogwarts Legacy came out, I bought it and I played the bejeebus out of it because it was magic and it was fun and it was exciting and it had interesting game mechanics and gameplay. Lichdom Battlemage talks about being a mage, and literally in their store description, the only thing that's in the preview store description legit says that you get to be a badass mage. And so I'm like, cool, I'm expecting this like really awesome spell crafting system where I can do all kinds of really interesting things. And I gotta say, with just under an hour of gameplay, I'm not overly impressed. There's 8 different like magic types, and I got as far as like kinetic energy, fire and ice, of course, the usual. I'm sure there's lightning, and there's probably I saw like a black hole thing at one point. So the idea is the first bit of the game, they're just teaching you how the game works, how the magic system works, how to craft. But you've got a fire spell. This is your primary destruction spell. And so you use it and you vaporize the enemy. And the first time you vaporize an enemy, you're like, wow, that's really cool. Until you realize that every time you're just pretty much vaporizing your enemies.
Boring.
Yeah, and then the movement system is kind of clunky. It's not great. You're supposed to be this badass mage. And so you should be able to move very quickly. Your attacks are slow and clunky, and the way they reward you with attacking is to hold the mouse button to charge. So you get a charge attack, which gives you your critical attack. So fundamentally, I agree with how the game magic system works. You have crafting. Every enemy you kill drops like a little thing that helps you craft better spells. Little modifiers that you can add to the spells. Your sigils, basically, your fire, your ice sigil, and your kinetic sigil, whatever else, lightning sigil. The challenge I run into is you get to the point where you're kind of being presented with a bunch of different enemies. And if you use ice, it just kind of freezes them for a little bit. And then you can use fire to cause a shatter. And then they just crumble into pieces. Now, here's the thing. My anticipation of Lichdom Battlemage, was that I should be able to walk into a room, and this is going to be like a first-person shooter style mage game, where it's going to be fast, action-paced, enemies are coming fast. When I want to be blowing them up and shooting them in different directions, there's no ragdoll physics. There's nothing creative about how you interact with the enemy. It's just shoot. Yeah, shoot. Aaron's giving me the big thumbs down, and I'm like, yeah, that's how I felt. The more I progressed through the game, and there's some story, and there's some weird little things you're going through where you find these little voids, and it tells you a little more of the story, and a little more of the story, and the background of what's happened to you. You are what's considered a dragon. And
you're so cool.
You're following the path of like this guy who made you a dragon. A dragon is just kind of a title more so than anything else. and you find that he had a prior like apprentice dragon at some point, and you're like, oh, something must have happened because now you're the apprentice dragon. So I don't know if it's like
dragon,
right? So the guy's gonna like probably turn on you, or it's some kind of trap, or it's some kind of weird thing. There's a few little cool things like you get killed at one point, and you're like, oh, what happened? And it's like, did I pass out? And they're like, no, you died.
You just died.
You died. And then don't worry, you'll get used to it. Like, because every time you die, you just get resurrected at a waypoint, right? So they're a little meta about that. But yeah, like the movement system's clunky. They have a blink, like a blink magic where you hit spacebar and you kind of there's no jump. I hate games that don't have a jump. I think it's lazy. So you hit spacebar, you blink, and you only blink like maybe a foot or two in either direction. So it's good for, it's probably like 6 feet, but it's good for dodging. But it's not really adding to the movement system or making it more interesting. And like I said, like you're attacking the enemies, and it's so slow to shoot, and you can get modifiers to increase your spell casting speed. So eventually, I'm sure you can get like rapid fire. You can probably get more badass mage. The
badass
mage. But just the movement system's clunky. The attack mechanics are clunky. You have area of effect attacks, which I mean are pretty much pointless to use unless you fully charge them, so that they do their full damage. So it's just like the whole game, you're kind of like holding the button down, waiting for it to charge, and then launching it, and holding it down to wait for it to charge, and then launching it. And I figured, this is slow and boring. I don't like it. It's not fast-paced enough.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens if I just say to heck with charge attacks, I'll just use regular attacks?
Yeah.
Well, now it's clunky, and nothing's really going on with the bad guys. Now, in the preview videos, there's things where it's like you can send them flying, you can do this, you can do that, but it's like, give me that out of the gate.
Yeah.
When I blast them with a critical hit from a fire blast, don't just vaporize them. Like, launch them across the room, have them burn, have them do a Wilhelm scream, and then have, like, there's no excitement in how the enemies get destroyed. There's no excitement in the environment. Like, there's bottles sitting on a crate. This is CryEngine. This is done in CryEngine, Aaron. And there's bottles sitting on a crate. When I launch a fireball at that crate, those bottles don't even move.
Oh, boo.
Right?
And CryEngine is a fairly decent physics.
Yeah, like even the original Crysis had some interactive elements in the game map.
Yeah.
And so,
do you think this can run Crysis?
Like when the game loads, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
There's a big castle, there's a town, the graphics look amazing, the lighting is cool. It's CryEngine, and they put the textures in there. They definitely put the effort into the level designs and the textures. But there's no life in any of the levels. There's no motion, there's no movement. CryEngine had like water and motion and fabric in the wind and all these other things that when you're walking through the jungle, the trees,
yeah, there's movement.
The leaves individually move as you walk past it. And that was original Crysis. And so, and destructible trees and all these other cool things.
We've taken a step back, is what you're saying.
So it's like, we've got CryEngine, but we're using 5% of CryEngine. We're not using any real physics. We're not really using any, destructible environments or even interactive environments to any level of any extent. When you first walk into the town, there's like people sitting on the ground and stuff, and you walk up to one of them, and their foot's clipping through the ground.
Huh.
And you're like, they clearly put no effort into like post-production on this thing to go, move their leg up a little bit so their leg isn't clipping through the ground.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went off the beaten path by just like maybe 3 or 4 meters to kind of go, hey, what's over here? And then I'm seeing this weird stuff. And I'm like, just general quality of this game. Look is there to sell the game. Feel is there to stop you from wanting to play it. And it's really unfortunate because I love Magic games and I just wanted to have a good time.
You wanted everything to be cool. It was not cool.
So graphics and art.
Yeah, let's get to the meat and potatoes now.
So like I mentioned, the graphics looked really, really great at the loading screen, and the levels looked very well crafted, but there was no life in any of the levels. There was nothing interesting. Like I said, bottles on a crate that couldn't be destroyed. It just seemed really half-assed. So Lichdom, Battledom, or Battlemage. I don't know why I put Battledom. Lichdom Battlemage is going to get I think probably like a 5.5.
5.5?
5.5.
In this economy?
In this economy, Aaron. 5.5 in this economy. And the primary reason for that, like the artwork was very repetitive. Like a crate looked like a crate. A barrel looked like a barrel. There was almost no variation. And like in a game, you only need like 4 or 5 texture variations to make it have more variation in your environment. Make it interesting. But it was just reused textures and reused. And like I said, I don't think that there was a lot of heart put into it from an overall standpoint. Now, they may have gotten to a point where they said, this game is good enough.
This game is good enough.
We want to launch it. We've put a lot of effort. And don't get me wrong, I think they put a lot of effort into the spells and the mechanic of spells and spell crafting. And I like what they did with it. But the execution just kind of felt lackluster. And the graphics and art style felt lackluster, for sure. The music and audio, the music was kind of blah. Like I got into a battle, some battle music played, but it just wasn't exciting. It wasn't super interesting. They did have that element, which is nice, of battle music and things like that. But the voice acting was not environmental, or was environmentally like weird. Like you're walking in the middle of a town, but it sounds like it's kind of like a little bit echoey, like you're in a cave. And then you're like in a cave and it sounds like someone's in a closet recording on a mic. So it just, like the audio engineering side of it was, again, it kind of felt like it was, an afterthought, you know? And the music kind of felt like an afterthought too. So I would give it maybe like a 6 out of 10, I think. It's the best I can give it. It's good enough.
Yeah.
But it just felt immersion breaking. Like it didn't feel like there was good immersion. When you're dealing with Magic, there's a lot of cool things you can do with sound and audio and explosions and reverberation, and it just feels like they just kind of did just the bare minimum with it. Gameplay, I'm gonna have to give this a 4.5 out of 10.
Well, okay, that sucks.
Yeah, I just did not enjoy the gameplay. It felt clunky. Within 5 minutes, it felt clunky and slow and unresponsive, and just the execution of the Magic system
was disappointing.
I was told where the mage is a total badass, and I felt like I was a total just blob. I felt like a refrigerator on wheels, Aaron. Like I just felt like I couldn't. Steering was slow and clunky. Movement was slow and clunky. And I get it. I'm not an assassin. This isn't Mirror's Edge. I'm not parkouring. But the movement system had no thought to it. It was totally basic and rudimentary. I'm supposed to be a mage, man.
Yeah.
You know, make me badass.
Yeah.
If you're telling me I'm badass, I should walk in there and I should be able to raffle stomp a group of skeletons and have them like explode into multiple directions like pins in a bowling alley, you know? So, yeah, gameplay, not so much. The crafting system was interesting with the spells, but it felt very restricted because it's like, we have this crazy crafting system. And then it's like fire, ice, lightning, kinesis, and then you just add modifiers to those. And I'm like, okay, so it's the same spell with some modifiers. And I'm sure like throughout the game, if you give it time, it probably gets better. The character designs are okay. Like, there's a lot of things that they do very, very well. But in the whole kind of, you know, charcuterie board, as it were, it just feels like it's uninspired. Right? And so, did I have fun playing the game? I didn't.
No.
It felt 5 out of 10 on fun.
Wow.
It just felt very slow and tiresome. There was no excitement. There was no fun. Even the story, like there was no stakes for me. It was just like, I don't know. I feel like they had a concept.
Yeah.
And I feel like the concept was very strong. Let's do magic crafting. But everything they did around the concept feels like it just wasn't a good idea. And that's, I think, the problem with game development, Aaron, is you come up with a great concept or game mechanic that you want to build around.
Yep.
but you've got to make sure that you put in the time with all the movement system, the other game mechanics.
Yeah, well, I mean, no game is an island.
Yeah, the story, the plot, like if it's not all kind of exciting, then you pull me in with good graphics or the promise of good graphics, and then you pull me in with this. It's magic and it's a crafting system, but then like everything around that kind of feels like it's just lumpy, So I wanted to like this game.
Sounds like.
Will I play it again?
No.
I don't think I will.
No.
I bought this long ago, probably on a Steam sale, thinking that, I'll probably play it.
Yeah.
But it's mixed reviews. It was released August 26, 2014, so it is older. But, I mean, Crysis and the CryEngine is capable of way more, even in 2014, than what they did with it. It looks like a modern title because it's CryEngine. But then they just kind of...
They did nothing with
They just didn't
CryEngine.
deliver...
Yeah.
They focused a lot on the game mechanic, and they just kind of threw everything in as a decor around it, I feel. And again, I don't want to take away from the fact that obviously a lot of people put a lot of heart and soul into this game. You can see that. You can see it in the gameplay and the mechanics. But as a whole, it's like you can take the most delicious steak in the world, and if you put it into a stew and the rest of the stew is mediocre, it doesn't matter how good the steak is. And this game has a lot of good steak. It just has a lot of really bad stew.
Just a lot of bad stew.
Right?
Fair.
And that's just the best way I can describe it. So my average rating for this game is a 5.3.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you definitely had a bad time. So, catapult then, yeah?
I will catapult it into the fault. How does that sound? Yeah. I'm going to put a little release mechanism so that the catapult doesn't launch it as it's launching the arc. The catapult actually goes all the way 180 degrees and launches it directly down into the fault. I want to see that. I want to see that animated. That sounds fun.
That sounds like a hilarious way to just like kronk.
Right, and the sound it would make. It would probably crack the catapult against the ground on the lip of the edge of the fault.
Yeah.
So yeah, Lichdom Battlemage.
Not for you.
No, not really. Not really for me. I'm curious to see how other people rated it.
Probably not too much different.
Lichdom Battlemage got a 3 out of 5 stars on Steam overall. It's like a 2.5 for me. Google users, 81% of people liked the game. But like it says first-person action role-playing game, but it doesn't feel like an action. It doesn't feel like action, IGN gave it a 6.5 out of 10. So like, it's not super great. You might like it if you just love magic so much that you don't really care how bad the rest of the game is. The movement system is what really killed it for me, Aaron.
Yeah?
Yeah, the movement system and the lack of life in the environments. Yeah. So
yeah, it just felt kind of cardboard cutout.
But I'm glad I played it because, my goodness, I bought it a long time ago, and I'm glad I can play it and kind of go, now I know. Now I know. I don't know what I paid for it.
Yeah, well, you can find out.
I don't want to. Don't make me.
Don't make me.
I already have buyer's remorse, and it was probably 5 years ago that I bought
God, way past the return window.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
so, Undecember,
a surprise catapult.
All right.
Oh, well, I mean, I don't see me playing it for too much longer, but
yeah, there's other games that I'd rather play for sure. So yeah, I mean, hey, if you're a Diablo or that style of game fan, Path to Exile, that kind of thing, yeah, give Undecember a try. Give it a try.
Give it a go.
But Lichdom Battlemage, try buyer beware.
Buyer beware.
Try it at your own risk.
Yeah. Or you might expect to be a battle mage, but in reality, you're a lich.
Well, it just felt like I was a battle mage that had eaten at a buffet and then followed up with an entire chocolate cake. Just felt like it was like, why is my character so
bad.
Immobile?
Yeah.
Like a refrigerator on wheels, Aaron.
Yeah, a refrigerator on wheels.
That's how I used to describe that. That is how, fun fact, when the first big Dodge Viper came out, probably when did the Dodge Viper TV series land?
19.
Dodge Viper original.
Looks like 13 and 14.
Yeah.
Huh.
So the
SR1?
The original RT10, January 1992.
So
okay. They did the original one was kind of fun. They did a redesign, I want to say in the early 2000s. And all I remember was reading the article reviewing how it was driving, and the individual that was writing the article actually literally described it as a refrigerator on wheels because it went really, really fast, did not handle very well. And so, yeah, I love that saying, refrigerator on wheels, and that is exactly what my character felt like. So,
amazing.
Yeah. So, fun fact.
Amazing.
Fun fact with friends.
And on that note, fun facts are we have a Discord. Come join us. Have a nice chatty chat.
Yeah, the link is up on our Patreon, and Patreon's free to go and look at it and click on our links.
Yeah. It's where most of our links are. So, yeah, absolutely. Please just visit, and we'd love to chat.
Yeah.
Emails, things like that at
bfcpcontact@gmail.com.
Hot dang. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next episode.
Yeah, get out there, play some games, and explore the world of gaming.
Let us fun conversation on the Discord can be, what game did you play that surprised you with how good it was?
Yeah.
I'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely. All right, well, as they say,
good luck.
Have fun.
Don't die. Ciao.
Bye.
Bye. And that's our time and the end of our episode.
But don't feel sad it's over. Be glad it happened. From the two of us in the basement, thanks for tuning in.
Join us next time.
And feel free to send us any feedback on our socials or send us a direct email at bfcpcontact@gmail.com.
And if you're really interested in what we're doing, join us on Patreon, where we will have loads of behind-the-scenes stuff and uncut takes as more episodes are released. Patreon.com/basements, faults, and catapults.
We're always excited to hear from you because we love engagement. We look forward to our next catapult launch and hope you can join us for the ensuing chaos.
Good luck.
See you next time. Oh, it was so lichy. I felt like my entire life was leached away.
My heart, she breaks.
She breaks for the poor humor. Or the middle class humor, depending on where you're at.